Welcome back to Bringing Children Home. In our last episode, we spoke about the shock and fear that follow when a child is taken across borders without consent. Today, we are going to make sense of the international treaty that was created to respond to exactly that situation, the Hague Convention of 1980. Why the Hague Convention exists. Before 1980, parents facing abduction across countries had very little help. One parent could take a child abroad, claim a new residence, and fight custody battles in the new country. Cases dragged on for years. Children became caught between two systems and often never returned home. The Hague Convention was created to stop this. It brings together more than 100 countries, including Italy, into a common legal framework. The goal is simple: to protect children from being uprooted and to ensure custody is decided in the right country, their country of habitual residence, the convention in plain language. Now, let's simplify. The Hague Convention is not about deciding who is the better parent. It is not about permanent custody. Instead, it asks one question: where should custody be decided? Here's how it works. If a child is wrongfully taken to another country or kept abroad beyond an agreed period, the parent left behind can request return. If both countries are part of the Hague Convention, the courts of the country where the child has been taken must order their return. Once the child is back, custody disputes can continue in the home country. Think of it as a way to reset the stage. It prevents one parent from gaining advantage by moving the child abroad. How it works in Italy. If your case involves Italy, here's what happens. Central authority. Each country has a central authority that receives applications. In Italy, this is the Ministry of Justice. They review your case, contact foreign authorities, and coordinate communication. Juvenile courts. The petition is filed with the Italian Juvenile Court. This is the court that decides Hague Convention cases. Hearings are urgent. Judges listen to both parents, review documents, and sometimes hear the child's voice. Decision. The juvenile court can order the child's return or deny it, depending on whether the requirements of the convention are met. And here's something unique. Unlike other family cases in Italy, decisions under the Hague Convention cannot be appealed in the ordinary courts. The only review possible is by the Supreme Court of Cassation in Rome. That's why cases must be prepared with great care from the very beginning. The exceptions. The convention is powerful, but it is not absolute. There are a few exceptions that courts can use to refuse return. Grave risk. If sending the child back would expose them to physical or psychological harm, the court may deny return. Child's objection. If the child is old enough and mature enough and objects to going back, judges may listen to them. 1-year rule. If more than a year has passed and the child is now settled in the new country, the court may decide not to disrupt their life again. But remember, these exceptions are interpreted narrowly. Judges know that the convention must be respected, and they are cautious not to let exceptions swallow the rule. A case example, anonymized. Let's picture a case. A child lives in the United States with both parents under a custody agreement. One summer, the father takes the child to Italy for vacation. At the end of the trip, he refuses to return the child. The mother applies under the Hague Convention. The Italian Juvenile Court looks at the case. They see that the child's habitual residence is the United States. They confirm that the removal was wrongful. Unless one of the narrow exceptions applies, the judge orders the child's return. Notice, the Italian court does not decide custody. It does not rule on parenting abilities. It simply says, this matter belongs to the courts of the United States. That is the power of the Hague Convention. Why speed matters. Every Hague case is supposed to be fast. The treaty itself says courts should resolve cases within 6 weeks. In reality, it often takes longer. But the spirit of the convention is urgency. Every delay risks the child becoming more settled in the new environment, which makes return harder. This is why acting quickly is not just a legal strategy. It is the heart of the convention, the emotional dimension. For parents, the process can feel cold, legalistic, full of documents and judges. But remember, the convention exists because thousands of families went through this pain before you. The treaty is a recognition that children need stability and that parents deserve a fair process. When you are overwhelmed by fear or confusion, hold on to this. The convention gives you a structured path forward. It transforms chaos into a process, and that is a lifeline when everything feels uncertain. From confusion to clarity, if you feel lost, remind yourself of this. The Hague Convention is not about custody. It is about location. It is not about parenting skills. It is about restoring balance. It is not about the past. It is about ensuring the future is decided in the right place. That shift in perspective can bring calm and focus, even in the storm. Final thoughts. So, let's close with the key points from today. 1. The Hague Convention protects children from wrongful removal across borders. 2. Its purpose is to return the child to their country of habitual residence. 3. In Italy, Hague cases go to juvenile courts with possible review only in the Supreme Court of Cassation. 4. Exceptions exist, but they are narrow. 5. Speed and preparation are your strongest allies. In our next episode, we'll go deeper into the practical side. How to file a Hague application in Italy, step by step, and what documents you will need. Outro music fades in. Thank you for listening to Bringing Children Home. If you found this episode useful, I invite you to follow the podcast so you won't miss the next episodes. You can also visit my website at www.cecatiello.it for more resources and connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn, where I share insights and updates on international family law. See you in the next episode.